for the Holy Spirit. He froze up for 17 seconds. That's some MK Ultra shit.
So I'm still here alive. I don't know why. I don't know why I can talk. Maybe it's because I have some type of amnesty, or maybe it's because somebody extremely, extremely close to me is a Mason, and I'm protected in that sense. I don't know. But if they wanted to do something with me, I wouldn't have even gotten this far to telling y'all about cloning. So to the people telling me, Bob, I fear for your life, y'all don't worry. I'm in good hands. Just continue spreading the word.
Satan, they know Satan is real in this bill. They don't want to die because they know what's coming. So they want to prolong their life, and they do it by cloning. But that's not them. You see, the real you can only stay alive for so long, but they take every kind of drug. They sleep in capsules. Man, they do everything to try to prolong their life.
Everybody can't talk because, you know, they got kids or, you know, they made some type of agreement, but pay attention. Everybody who's in this shit or who's in this industry or who has a clone is not evil or malicious. Some people just got born into this shit, like me.
It's not just about copying a person. It's about consciousness transfer. And it started with MK Ultra. And the reason why this is important is because it's a lot of people that are unwillingly participating in this shit, and they don't even fucking know it. It's mind control. And it started with Germany. It started after World War II. All the Nazis were, you know, escorted, VIP'd in. All the top scientists and military personnel were harbored in the United States and South America. And also, prior to that, the Nazis went to Antarctica. And a lot of the reason why Admiral Byrd went to Antarctica was because the Nazis were in Antarctica. Yes, Warner von Braun, exactly. Fucking props, Aaron Badescu. I don't know if I'm saying the name right, my bad. But Warner von Braun is actually he actually started NASA, I believe. And on Warner von Braun's tombstone, he has a Bible verse that talks about the firmament. So I thought that was interesting. But so anyway, after World War II, the Nazis went to Antarctica and found this fucking supercomputer. And this supercomputer was I ain't got no lighter. Here we go. And so this supercomputer was already there and under the fucking ice. And it's kind of like that movie Prometheus, where they go find that spaceship and it's like a supercomputer already in there. And so a part of the reason why Admiral Byrd went down there was they made it seem like he was just trying to explore Antarctica, but he was trying to go see what the fuck the Nazis was doing, and he got his ass turned back. If you look at that interview, it looks like he's not really telling the truth about what he saw. Like, you can tell something is like on his heart when he's talking. Like, go look at that interview about Admiral Byrd.
Elvis Presley didn't die in that casket. Elvis Presley was under a drug of hypnotic that paralyzed his body for, 4 to 6 hours. And he was removed and lived underground. Okay? Like Adolf Hitler, they cloned that. Adolf Hitler never died. He died in Brazil of old age. Steve Jobs didn't die when they said he died. They cloned him. Steve Jobs was last seen in 2014 in Brazil. Still kind of sick because they can't stop the sickness. But he was still alive. Yes, they cloned Steve Jobs. They cloned Microsoft man, Bill Gates. All them guys been cloned. So a lot of times, that's not necessarily the real Bill Gates. The real Bill Gates, they working his brain to death in a lab. He ain't came up yet. He's underground. See, when they put you under these deep hypnosis, you don't even be submissive. You just do what they tell you. Oprah Winfrey is on the MOK, and that's not the real Oprah. That's not the real Lenny Kravitz. All right, the movie called Hostel. Now, I know a lot of y'all look at these Quentin films and say, well, that's just a movie, Yash. No. The movie called Hostel It exists. This is what those rich people do. They get around each other and they watch each other. They watch people torture each other and they get off on it. I mean, they literally sit there with Dom Perignon, Cristal, whatever they want to drink, but most of them like blood. And they're sitting there in a damn high chair, or they sitting in the they sitting in comfort.
And so basically, the Nazis coming to America and South America is what started Operation Paperclip, and it's what started the CIA and the NSA. And so the Central Intelligence Agency is actually like all of the major Hollywood studios. They're actually the CIA, and that's why all this information gets put into these movies. It's sort of like a soft disclosure, sort of like a predictive programming. I don't know, but like, you ever see these movies and it's just like, why the fuck are these secrets in this fucking movie? And it's like, that's why the CIA is behind it. And it's not even just like behind it, like they literally are Hollywood. And so where was I? So anyway, I'm trying to be brief. So basically, with Operation Paperclip, that's what started all the MK Ultra tests, and them grabbing people involuntarily, all the missing kids and missing people that were used for MK Ultra. And what they would do is they would experiment with consciousness transfer, where they could transfer your consciousness, and also they could replicate DNA. They could replicate your body. They could replicate your body, put you in another body, train you to be an assassin or fucking anything, and then transfer you, and then wipe your memory and transfer you back into your original body, and you think that you just had a crazy ass dream, and it happens different. It happens different for different people. Like, certain people are like kidnapped and kept on these bases. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe they were like they trained them, transferred their consciousness, trained them, put them back in their original body, put them back into society as some Hollywood actor or artist that just pops up out of nowhere. You never heard of him, or a president, or a news anchor, or the CEO of a huge multi-billion-dollar company. They basically brainwashed and made sleeper agents out of all of the key factors, the key integral positions in society, including news anchors. I think that's a huge thing, because as you saw, the whole shit with Al Roker, when they said make room for the Holy Spirit, he froze up for 17 seconds. That's some MK Ultra shit.
Okay. Alex Jones also been chipped. If they get to where they don't want to be a part of that no more, they'll cut their chip off and they'll just start having eternal pains. Speaking of pain, Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac was killed, man. Let me just explain this. Bernie Mac sold his soul. They don't even let you see things like this until you sell your soul. So when Bernie Mac got that show, he had sold his soul. The Bernie Mac show. Then he started getting movies, but way before then, he was just doing comedian. Didn't show Bernie nothing. When Bernie started getting his feet wet, they started taking him to Pandora's box. His mind was blown. But then they put him under the oath where he won't talk. You know, throw the gold up here and there, put your hands in pyramid. That's the oath. So as Bernie started making more money, his name became a household name. They started taking Bernie to the clone lab, because there is a thing called clone lab, and they all over. They're not just in America; they're all over the world. All right, they control them anywhere. Rich folks, they're always in places you never think they are. It's like it could be a desert, like nothing exists, and it's this one fucking pond of water or some old trees. That's usually where it's at. It's underground. They got it, man. It's just like the movies. They telling you the truth in the movies. So nevertheless, Bernie Mac was introduced to the clone lab. They take you there. They took him there. They let him see the fights. At first he thought it was cool, you know. It was like Eyes Wide Shut. They screwing in front of you. They doing bizarre things, man. Bestiality. You going, damn, right? But the part that tripped him out, how they showed him. They literally showed him how they clone people. They take the real person and put them off to the left and make two more of you. It blew his mind. Just like they did the dogs, the fish, all of that. He's like, wait, I'm tripping. That ain't a real person. Then they start, they stab the person to make you see they bleed. They're real. And right? So this was heavy on Bernie. Very heavy on him. But they already had him chipped. Once they take you to the clone lab, you have to get chipped. Steve Harvey is chipped. Oprah's chipped. D.L. Hughley is chipped. Said Entertainers. That's why they don't say nothing. Because this is what happened to Bernie. When Bernie started to have these conversations, they can hear everything he's saying. So they made him go into pain more. So they can put your body in pain. He's still, I'm hurting. So Bernie had a talk with Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley, and Said the Entertainer because he believed he could talk to them. He's like, man, we got to tell somebody about this shit, man. Cloning people? They advised him, hey, man, this shit been going on since the 40s. We're going to make our money. Steve Harvey, big lip ass, right? So Bernie was really adamant about it. It was heavy on his head. So Bernie did the King. They let him do that tour. He came back. He still was cool. But shortly thereafter, he did a movie with, I believe, with Samuel Jackson. I ain't for sure. And he was still good. But shortly after that movie got done, he kept bringing it up. So Steve goes and rat him out. Well, they knew what he was saying, but Steve was like, he becoming a problem. So they hold a meeting without Bernie.
Bernie Mac always said he walked alone. I don't think he was walking alone at all.
If I die all of a sudden, they will be penniless. I don't want nobody to enjoy shit like that. I don't want nobody driving my boat. I don't want nobody sitting up there.
All that's just going back.
Yep.
All that's just going back.
It was a damn shame how Bernie left his people. I ain't leaving nobody nothing. I got my wheel all done. I got it on tape and everything.
Yeah, everything was you.
Good.
Wheel, you on tape?
I'm not here now.
I'm not here now.
But I just want to say to all my aunts, uncles, that I had a good time while here on Earth. I'm gone now. There's no funeral. I know you all pissed off about that right now. But I'm gonna leave you all just what you all left me. Shit. I'm not giving. I paid all my life. I paid y'all rent, y'all car notes, helped out, school tuition. I just don't want nobody banging my wife when I'm gone, sitting on my bed, wearing my robe, my jewelry, and driving my boat. Is that selfish? Is that selfish?
You just letting it all go back.
Okay. MLK equals clone. Every rich person has a clone. Now, I know a lot of y'all saying, well, what if you was in a franchise and you made money? Would they come after you? You cannot be rich in this world without being a part of the Illuminati or being cloned. You cannot have $5 million in your bank and not be a part of the Brotherhood. I don't care if you own a chicken joint, a laundromat, if you got a car lot, you are not going to have that type of money, and you're not going to be a part of their program. This is how they get you, man. I said it prior. They always want to invite you somewhere, and most of the time they'll pay for it. And you're going to go for it because man, I must be all right. They're paying for everything, room and board. It's in the food. They're going to serve you. They're going to put it in your drink. And if you a person say, I don't want nothing to eat that night, and you just say, he ain't eating, he ain't drinking nothing either, they got plan B. They're going to have a beautiful girl bump up against you. She has a little needle that's going to feel like a mosquito bite, but that's just like a pin, like a needle head she's going to hit you with, that's going to knock your ass out within 60 seconds. You see all that James Bond shit? That shit exists, man. And while you sleeping, they put a chip in your neck, your head, or whatever they decide to put it, and you become MLK. And if you're real valuable and smart, they're going to clone you and take the real you and put you away and let your clone act like you. Okay? It's not an entertainment, music industry, sports thing. It's everywhere. If you're a person that came out with a software that generates millions of dollars, they're coming after you. Remember that dude that made Flappy Bird or whatever that thing was called? He was getting 56 million downloads a day. They came after him. He said he ain't gonna do it no more. He pulled it, remember y'all? He pulled it because he was getting too much attention. The money was coming in like crazy. They drafted him in and said, "You're gonna work for us." They made him come back, and they put him under hip. He was fighting, but they met him. He went out to meet or whatever. He said he didn't want no part of them. They shot him up with some shit. He came back under hypnosis, and now they pipping his brain to make other software. He works for them now. He's in the clone lab, and they ain't let him go home. A lot of times when you hear about people that's dead, they're not dead. Gaddafi never died. Gaddafi clone died, but he never died. Okay. What makes them want to clone you? A person that's all over YouTube, you know, you're becoming famous, people listening to you. Who is Chris Brown handler to get him cloned and chipped? Rihanna. Now notice that Chris right now when they start putting people around you every other day, that's not Chris Brown. That's a reptile in Chris Brown that's controlling him. In other words, that's a demigod, that's a demon of alien descent, but it's really reptilia, which is like a lizard, but they have to live in human format. And we don't know, how do you know that Chris is a clone? Because he's gonna have to have somebody with him 24/7. He can't be alone. Whenever a celebrity has to have somebody living with them and with them, that's because the clone can't work by itself. It has to have somebody with them. And what struck me really weird when Rihanna said that she wants to be at Chris Brown's hearing when he gets ready to do his child support. I thought that was kind of weird. Rihanna is Chris Brown's handler, and she's been told that this is not real Chris Brown. This is going to be his who? Cloning. 85% of the people in America do not watch TV no more. They don't. Everybody's online now. So they trying to bring regular TV onto YouTube and make you pay for that shit and kick the creators to the curb. Now, having said that, there's certain creators they're going to handpick to be a part of this phenomenon, and they're going to think they're being blessed, but they're not. They're going to get them to sell their soul too. So if you're a creator on YouTube, you're going to get handpicked. They know who they want. But guess what? They don't want no independent journalists. They don't want no real news. They don't want nothing like what I do. They want people who they want people who follow orders and tell it like they want them to tell it. They want to keep you in suspense and bullshit. And they're going to pump the LGBT community. They're going to pump transgenders community. They have channels for that. And they want to defeminize men, and they want to make women masculine. So this is the type of shit that YouTube is going to. So you see that I was ahead of the game when I told y'all 7 stages needed, because real shit ain't going to be seen no more. When YouTube make this final, Facebook gonna join suit. They ain't gonna have it where y'all can talk real shit. So if you don't have a network, how you gonna get the information out?
Cause I started researching shit when I was like in high school. Yo, let me tell y'all how crazy I am, right? When I was in high school, I started researching 9/11 and all the like little conspiracy videos on YouTube. I was like, yo, somebody needs to hear about this. You know, Karen called a manager. I was like, Karen called a manager. and so I was like, I was damn near finna like get one of them YouTube videos and burn it on a DVD and go to school and put it in all my teachers' mailboxes. Like, we need to deal with this shit. We need to deal with it.
Surprised when people bring up the subject of flat Earth. People freak out. Were you surprised at how big a story it became?
I didn't know that people cared so much about.
I didn't either.
And I come from in my specific generation, in my year, like the moon landing was like, it was always like a joke, like, haha, we didn't go to the moon, or, you know, it's like it's like a conspiracy thing.
Right.
And so, you know, we was never like really like die hard, like, man, I love the moon and space, you know what I mean? And so, and I actually, like, when I started researching it, I really wasn't gonna like put it out there. I just wanted to keep researching it and see like what, like, this shit is crazy, you know what I mean? So when I like originally put out the picture and the internet exploded, I was like, what? I didn't know this many people cared. Some certain, I don't know which ones, but certain ones are like controlled opposition, kind of like.
What's that mean?
You remember in the movie Surrogate?
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Surrogate, I'm about to spoil it for you.
Spoiler alert.
So, couple years. So, like, the person who was rebelling against the surrogates was a surrogate himself.
He was a plant. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so it was to get everybody on his side so that they can control the opposition.
And so you believe that this flat Earth thing is
certain ones.
Satan runs everything. So when you hear about people talking about the Jews don't run, the Jewish don't run shit because they're the synagogues. The real Jews are the Hebrews. So when these people talk about running the world and they are not changing anything. Satan runs it all. So that's why I like when Bob talked about you must, because you found out who the Rockefellers were, the Rothschild, and you think you solved it. I like when he said, that's not it. It's something much darker. See, that's when I know someone's giving him a pass because he don't go into detail. Because if no one was giving him a pass, you'd be just like me. I go into detail. No man controls me. I don't belong to nobody's club. That's why I go into detail. Bob will tell you things, but he'll cut it off. So I think he's been given a pass to tell y'all because they know most people ain't gonna believe it no way.
Seven trumpets will mark the judgment of the living on earth. 4 devastations and 3 woes. These are 7 redemptive judgments to plague earth while salvation is still possible before the close of mercy. Consider the importance of the Day of Atonement in the wilderness in Leviticus 16. It was the most important day in the Jewish year, for the 10th day in the 7th month marked the close of Israel's judgment for that year. Likewise, a parallel is drawn for the final generation in Revelation as the 4th seal is opened and the first trumpet sounds. And the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar and cast it into the earth, and there were voices and thunderings and